Brenda with Midlife Single, and today is our first session of Girl Talk. So I'm kind of excited about this. I thought that we should have a powwow and talk about the dating scene, talk about relationships and love in this time of social media and COVID and madness and that sort of thing. So here we go, ladies. Who wants to start us off?
I will. What
Okay,
are we talking about?
So I want to talk about,
should we
the
start talking about the dating?
Yeah, frustrations in dating.
Well, okay, I'm not much of a dater because I like to avoid the frustrations of dating. I find that the more I ponder this, so my son has turned 18. He's just about ready to graduate from high school. I've been a single mom his whole life. So I am very choosy about who I have let into our lives. And I find that now that he's getting to this age where he's ready to kind of abandon me. And it's a good thing. I think it's a healthy thing for both of us. But I'm finding, the people who might be interested in me, getting to know me a little bit more, or me dating, I'm sort of confused about the way things work out there because there's so many different platforms for dating, like the websites, the dating sites and stuff. I've avoided that because I really like to get to know someone a little bit better before I say, yeah, I'd like to spend a little more time with you. But the one thing that I'm really surprised about is there seems to be such an ease with the physical connection so quickly in getting to know somebody, where it's almost like an assumption if you spend time with somebody and laugh or share any of your time with them, that it almost seems like it's a given that there's that need for the human touch factor that almost seems to be taken for granted. And that confuses me because I think it can lead to a lot of heartache and confusion at our ages. I think it's really important just to avoid those things where people kind of like think that they're heading in one direction, and then everyone has a style, and if a man and a woman come together physically too soon, I think it can really kind of taint a relationship or what can be a really good friendship and partnership. And I think at this age, that's more or less what I'm looking for, someone who is more like a best friend and loves to do the things I love to do, and not worry about all the physical stuff up front. So that's
Does
a big
anybody
thing
want
for
to
me.
add to that?
It's scary.
Well, I really appreciate that you brought that up, Michelle. And I think it's really nice actually right now, because I don't know if you guys grew up with the whole tradition of you wait, get to know each other first, the whole thing, right? But right now we're kind of forced to, because we're not getting physically close right now. At least the responsible people are not. You would expect that that's just not happening. But then it's really ideal, because then we're really connecting on an intellectual, emotional level and really getting to know first before jumping into each other's pants. No matter how much you might have that urge, it's like there's this boundary right there right now. So it forces us to really wait, which I think is awesome.
I agree on that. What about
that's a good point.
It is a good point. What about you, Connie? How do you feel about that topic?
So I have really mixed feelings, because I was with my husband for 35 years and I became a widow 4 years ago. And so I hadn't dated for many, many, many years. And the way I dated when I was 21 and the way that I date now when I'm 61 is very different. One of the things that I appreciate is physical touch, but I am not necessarily interested in moving toward the sex part of the physical touch. as quickly as I used to be. That being said, I spend time with a gentleman who is also self-quarantining and staying out of the social realm. He doesn't have to work with people. He doesn't have to do anything except go to the grocery store occasionally. Hi, Sisu.
She wants in on this.
She's like, I have things to say.
She's got stories. She's got stories.
So when I see him, every week or so, and I hug him, I say, this feels so good. I haven't felt anyone touch me since you last touched me. But I agree with you that distance, because I am dating, that distance is good because it kind of enforces that distance that some of us may have trouble enforcing.
I think it's hard to enforce in this social media age, especially with online dating with like Tinders, when the primary purpose of getting on a Tinder is to have sex. I find someone to have sex with,
Right.
So I think that's really changed the game as far as what people's expectations are, especially depending on the site that you have maybe connected with them on.
Yeah.
So that's been my experience. I think that, if I go out on a date with someone in Tinder, like I pretty much expect them to make a move, right away.
Wow.
And so I don't do those
Wow.
sites because of that. Yeah. I don't do them. Right.
It's scary.
Interestingly enough,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm all ears on this one because I'm actually behind the curve. I'm so okay.
Interestingly enough, I find that the people that I meet on Tinder tend to be more honest and straightforward about what they want or don't want.
That's
because
true. I
I've
agree with you.
also met some lovely people on Tinder who are not interested in a sexual relationship as a precursor to any other relationship. And I don't know if that's an
is that
age thing.
something?
Go
Well,
ahead.
how do you broach the topic with that? Because it is pretty much, when you think about everything we've been through in life, that we're all looking for something that fulfills us. And for some people, it could literally just be, I just want to, have fun, or nothing serious, go out with somebody and enjoy their time, and it leads to sex. I'm okay with that. But how do you even go about that sensitive subject where you know that you're not wasting your time with somebody, because some people, they've perfected a craft of, saying, oh, I'll do this and this and this, and by this time I'm so inexperienced with it that I literally fear that I'm going to be naive and think, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful last night, even though it takes a lot to get me there. If I feel like I'm going to go with it, I really want to be able to let loose and say, I'm really having a great time, and I'm using my best judgment, and this is fine. Although I'm not for one night stands or any of that stuff, but sometimes when you feel that chemistry, it's like, wow, I really like this person. But I'm just wondering, is it something that you could really broach early on? If you're sensitive to it, like I would be saying, I'm not interested in only a sexual thing. No goals in the future, no real commonalities. I want to get to know a person and like them as who they are, to let them into my life,
Right.
Let alone see them as a lover down the road.
I think that, like with any relationship, be it student and teacher, be it work relationship, be it a romantic relationship, or just a relationship that is based on company and companionship. I think that you have to set expectations, and you have to say, this is what I want. I typically, when I'm looking at a Tinder or or I'm sometimes on Plenty of Fish, I look and I see. So if it's Tinder, if there are no words, if there's just the person's name and their age, I pass that by, because this is not the kind of person that I'm interested in. I'm interested in somebody who is articulate, who is intelligent, who feels comfortable saying what it is that they're interested in.
So Connie, you're saying you bypass like Big Daddy? I'm your man. I'm the guy you've been waiting for.
Yes, I do, Jana, I do.
Misspellings. It's the misspellings that drove me nuts.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly. And certain sites have places where you can indicate what your intention is. So are you looking for just dating? Are you looking for just friends? Are you looking for a short-term relationship, a long-term relationship, just fun, whatever that looks like. And I've had some experiences where I've thought, oh, wow, this is going well. And then this person turns around and they say, well, but I just wanted to date. It said so in my profile. Oh, okay. I did not read that carefully. So, and then some on Tinder will say things like, no hookups.
Well,
Go ahead.
What's that mean, no hookup?
That means no one night stands.
That's
I
kind of
found
cool
that to not be true.
That there's
though.
such a thing.
I think that's just
That's how they lure you in.
There's psychology. That's real psychology.
Right.
There's always that catch.
There is.
Yeah.
Man, especially if you start having fun, and there's single people, they're like, why not? Why not do this? You might even be the one, and it's like, God, you just don't want to get caught up in that to 2 months down the road or a month down the road, go, geez, man, I see all your neediness coming out, like all your stuff now that like you're infatuated thinking the one, because you're the one who said no hookups, and because we both had a little chemistry, now all of a sudden you're putting all these pressures on me that wasn't even what we signed up for, to get to know each other as people and just take it slow and, cook together or whatever,
Right.
But,
Janet, what has your experience been?
Oh, no.
I would say, if I only knew then what I knew now.
Me too.
I probably would have looked for more of an organic way of meeting people, like meetups, hiking groups, kayaking, and gone into situations where I met people in a more friend-like atmosphere, because I went on some really weird dates. You read what people say. I'm not going to say a name, but I went out with somebody in Tucson. It was my very first match date. And I had four total, and it was the first one. And he was a businessman. It was the most boring date.
Oh, no.
We ate dinner. It was boring conversation. There was literally nothing, no chemistry for me, nothing. Okay. Walk out, say goodnight. And then I get a text commenting on my butt. And I didn't.
Oh, shit.
So, and I didn't respond. I thought, all right, that's too much. And then I got another text saying exactly that, too much, ? And I thought, yeah, I'm going to reply now. And I said it was. I don't feel it was appropriate. There was nothing in our, date.
Right.
Yeah.
And he went off on me, called me names.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I blocked him, and then he ended up trying to go out with a couple of my other girlfriends on there. And so we got a kick out of it because it was like every time he popped up on somebody's list, they were like, no, don't go.
He's got issues.
Yeah.
The red flag.
But what you see, you know, what's in those little windows that they tell you there is kind of that same thing when you're a teenager and the boy says, I love you, I promise.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's that, to me, it's that same thing. How do you know when it's the real thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the thing of like, when I was thinking about, since I'm such a non-dater, you know, being a non-dater, it's, when I think about who I would really like to spend my time with, I think if you spend any amount of time on the dating sites and you find that people are like getting needy on you, or just you're just thinking, I'm not good at this, this is not me, it's I'm not matching with anybody. I feel that you have to be pretty comfortable with yourself enough that you're really willing to humble yourself to invite the person that is also humbling themselves to get to know you and do the things you like to do, and you do the things they like to do, and you find some commonalities. But to go out and say dating is fun in this world right now, I don't think it is, because we're at an age where we are just so who we are, but yet are we, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if our hearts are not fulfilled and we're not being loved by somebody, I feel like what you give out for love, what you're able to do to say, this is my way of loving, you have to kind of match that in a way, and you have to do it in a way that's out of your vulnerabilities versus your desires and the things that seem to be reflective of dating. It's a very, very personal thing, and it's not a one size fits all. So, you know, if you put your profile picture out and you get 50 different people and you're exhausted from, you know, trying to figure out who to spend your Friday night with, I mean, I think you can become very quickly very not superficial, but very like, you know, if you're in control or not, you know who you're attracting or not. But I think it kind of skews what finding love is really about versus just dating if that's all you really want. You know, it's just going out to find different people to have a good time with.
Well,
It's
and
hard.
on those
I think it's
sites,
really
they talk to you and they talk to 20 other people, and so you get done talking to them
and they perfect themselves.
11 o'clock at night they're talking to somebody else, and then you know, if you have,
it's true.
It's funny to see, when I had a circle of friends doing it, we could see that they were also talking to the, you know, somebody similar. So to me it became,
yeah,
they're talking to me, how long does that last, you know?
Well, but doesn't that create a little bit of a you know, a suspicion in a way that you're potentially in a position that you're like, I want to be myself and I want to smile my best smile, but I'm not sure that they're giving me the same. And I think
so
there's a chance on that, you know, every time you reach out to a stranger.
Right. Do you guys think that trust has become one of the biggest issues in dating right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think so? I mean, obviously what you just said, but yeah. I mean, what other factors do you think go into that?
Yeah.
Are they married?
Yeah.
Well, that's a big one.
With somebody?
Yeah. I was dating somebody who insisted that he was single.
Right.
And yet 4 months in, when I hadn't seen him on a weekend night because of this excuse or that excuse, turns out, guess what? Not single.
Right.
And, you know, that's a huge issue for me. And somebody has to be very, very transparent and allow me to see that, in fact, they are available. Because, I mean, I told this person from the very beginning that if I find out that you're married, you'll never see me again.
Right.
How
it happens
terrible
a lot.
It's
not uncommon. Yeah, it happens a lot. I've had it happen to a few of my friends.
But do you see that when it comes down to it, women, you know, with our emotional, I'll just say our emotional intelligence, where we're nurturers and we sacrifice and we're able to see beyond just, you know, the like, yeah, this is the, you know, we want more than just having the thrill of arm candy or the fun or the 3 months of a, you know, no commitment type of thing. You know, you can get to know somebody and say, it's not working out, you know, in a couple months, and call off. It's all fair in the dating world. Mm-hmm. But really, when you're thinking about somebody who's really in a place where they're like putting the image out there that they're available emotionally, but they're not. As mm-hmm. women, especially intelligent women, it becomes really hard to distinguish, you know, who's really being honest and forthcoming and how far you want to put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. Or do you want to do the organic thing where you have your close friends that are like, you know, if I just get out there and do my own thing, like learn to mountain bike.
Yep.
Or I want to do a cooking class that has like it's a bunch of people in it, or things that involve just other people who haven't the same interests. That you're like, I'm discovering more about myself, knowing that you wouldn't be my typical person, but the fact is, you sure don't come with any red flags, like trying to tell me you're somebody you're not, and I have to spend my time with you and be disappointed that, in fact, you really are a very needy person or a really disturbed individual that you know just wants, and you never even know what the time frame is. It could be somebody who's like, you know, just they played the game so long that they're really good at it and you're not aware, or it's a 3-month or 5-month or 6-month thing, and you just feel deflated because you're like looking for some sort of cool companionship with a new person that really it's a facade that you can never give into. Once you get to know them, it's drama and a little dysfunction.
Right.
So I think the dating things are just completely not me, but I think, as I was saying, that, you know, my son's getting ready to move out and do his thing, and I've been a single mom his whole life. So, you know, I'm interested in meeting people who literally can share like-minded things, and the people I've met who are on friendship status with me, I do secretly look at them like, I wonder if I wonder if he is this way. I wonder if I could, you know, like he's too short for me, but yeah, like he's short, but I don't know. Like I like the fact that he's this way as a person. He's not trying to prove anything to me. He just is who he is, and I think maybe I've been putting too much emphasis on the other things that when I was in my 20s and 30s that I guess I could have. But I'm looking for a real genuine person that just says, you know, me too, Michelle. I'm me too. You know, I'm like, do you want to plant an herb garden together? You know, like let's do that on a Sunday. I will be grateful. I want to have mimosas with you and just have you go home after that, you know, and then I want to see you again and we'll cook together.
Well, you know, Michelle, when you said about the 20s and 30s thing, I'm like, okay, so all that drama or whatever happens, aren't we like past that? I mean, when Connie, you were sharing those stories, and I'm just like, that happens like now? Like, aren't we like worse? I mean, aren't you done with that? I mean, honesty, transparency, come on. I mean, just like, you know what you want. You've been there, done that. Just be real already. That just doesn't make sense to me.
You know, I think that because of social media, and this is just my opinion and you guys can chime in, but I think we've created this never-ending revolving door of people. So as soon as you start to maybe, I don't know, whatever the case may be, it's so easy to swipe the next person in. And I think because of social media, we have a plan B and we have a plan C. So it just feels like there's not a true, like in the old days, you kind of know if you were talking to someone, they're more than likely not talking to anybody else.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at that time we didn't have cell phones or, you know, whatever.
They're into you.
Now, you just don't know what's real and what's not. And you're kind of putting yourself out there for people. And it's always in the back of your heart and your mind that who else is this person talking to, you know, and am I going to wake up one day and this person be gone and out of my life? So I think we've put this protective shell on ourselves when it becomes to dating at this age, because, and I think it holds true for the younger kids too, because they're experiencing it as well. But you know, I think it's harder for us because we didn't grow up that way. We had another way of dating when we were younger. And so now we're kind of thrown into this whole scene of social media and dating and, you know, all of that. And I think there's a lot of issues, not just for people who are dating, but I also think people that are married have the same sort of issues. You know, I mean, I've gotten messages from people who are married, and I'm thinking to myself, I would be pretty pissed off if I was your wife, knowing that you were sending me that kind of a message, you know? So it's kind of, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of created this whole mess, I think. Anybody want to talk about that?
Can I say though that
it is a mess.
you are finding the confidence in yourself.
Yes.
Do we necessarily need these sites to find someone?
I don't think we do.
No.
I don't think we do.
I know that's become like, we're sold that's the new way. This is how you do it. And I do not think that has to be the way.
I think the best experiences with people that I've had have come very organically. It may have been that I've met that person on, you know, through Facebook or something like that, but it wasn't necessarily a dating site, and I probably had mutual friends with them. And
at the bar, Brenda, go to the bar.
Go to the bar. Bar 101. Yeah, but I think those are the best, you know, have been the best experiences for me anyway, have not been through dating sites.
But you know what? I'm in a position where the work that I do, I'm not meeting anybody there because I'm working with students, and I'm working with a very limited number of adult people.
Right.
I do meetups because Jana made me.
Yay, Jana.
Where I have to say I have a lot of fun. And I think that that's a great place to meet people, but I also think that I've been doing that for almost a year now. And although I've enjoyed company with people, nobody's ever asked me out on a date.
You know what I would suggest?
What?
If you're open, you love to cook. Create an online cooking class for men that have to cook for themselves.
That's a good idea.
That's a whole lot of work, Jenna.
Or if you do photography, you put a site where you take pictures of, you know, profile pictures of.
We'll give you a segment on Live Life Single.
But I just think there's a way to be more empowered throughout this and not be sitting back going, I wonder if I was uncomfortable. We can have that power back and maybe find the person that is supposed to be in your life, if you're supposed to have a person in your life.
Right.
Well, I think we can always, if we are ready to have a person in our life, because at some point we have something to learn and we have something to teach, and we have to face it that women are really so powerful when it comes to maintaining and structuring a relationship. You get these men who are, you know, whether they're married or not married or whatever their reason for being on the dating site is, I really feel that as women, you know, we have to kind of dissect like what they bring to the table and what their history is at that point. And if we're willing to deal with all that and continue to groom them and allow them in our lives, because honestly, I think if you're an independent person, they always become a little bit needy when you're an independent woman and you feel like you're just wanting to explore. Like you're really, as an individual, saying, this sounds old fashioned, but it's like a good man really brings out the best in a good woman, and a good man
vice
really,
versa.
true, vice versa. Absolutely. At the end of the day, I think that's what brings it all together.
Right.
Is that the woman really can say, you know what, your imperfections, I love you for, and all the things that our lifestyle, represents, I'm good with. But it takes a minute because there's just so much facade out there that it makes it hard to be vulnerable for a second and say, I really am just looking for someone that allows me to be me and their true self. Because if you make a dating profile and it's all based on like, I like, bike rides, and like, I'll just tell you real quickly, I have a friend who is in his 50s, and he admitted to me that his profile on all those dating apps, he has a picture of a nice bike, like a mountain bike or something. And he says, I really like, outdoors. I like to get out. I love this and this and this. And it attracts people, but it's like low cost, he's like, I don't have to like take them to fancy dinners and stuff. I just go out, and then if I pretend that I'm successful and confident, they're usually wanting more from me within the first couple dates, or like really wanting me, like, so what's next? Where do we stand? What do we do from here? And he said, from there, it's so easy, like one decent meal and they're coming home with you. And I find it so fascinating, because I'm like, but then what are you really there?
I find it embarrassing as a woman that they
Me
sat
too.
like that would
But
be
it's
so freaking easy.
Wow.
Like,
It's embarrassing. It really is.
yeah,
It happens. And I think if they have, a little bit of, if they get the experience doing it, they just get better at it, because that's just for them, like, oh, there's nobody out there for me. I'll just do it this way. And it's fine to keep doing this,
I have to say, I think that you're, I'm getting a feeling of great cynicism from you.
Yeah, for sure. You know why? Because I'm not out there in the dating world. And I was going to say this earlier to you. You seem so open. And the fact that you tell somebody, nobody's hugged me or touched me since that shows a genuine connection to your genuine person, that you're just putting it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that puts it out there to a person to say, come on, really, are you gonna do wrong by this person who's saying, I'm being vulnerable to you? How about you? Where are you coming from? And I think that says a lot about you as a strong woman, honestly, and intellectual, and a very strong person, honestly.
Well, thank you. I think though that a lot of it has to do with your attitude going in to a situation. If you go in with a positive and an optimistic attitude, it's likely that you will be aware when things are not right. I think that, and Jana has seen the evolution of my dating experiences, from very, very naive at the beginning, but still very positive and optimistic. And I was very fortunate to be married to somebody for 35 years. But I also feel like I have a chance to have more to my life again. So I'm just going to keep, thinking the best and putting myself out there.
Do you guys feel that at this age, do you feel like you see a lot of cynicism and, people that are very jaded in the dating scene out there, just jaded about love and relationships and that sort of thing?
Those people are typically not
sadness.
people that I run into.
Okay, that's interesting.
Lonely people. I see more lonely people because they can't find a connection they think they need.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I hate to put it that way, but when I was working with the public before life changed, it was such a common theme, men and women, that people are alone. They're looking for somebody, but they don't know how to find them.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's
uncomfortable.
Right.
Like it is uncomfortable to approach anybody, especially the older we get as women, the less approachable we become. Because I think at 16, if somebody said, "Hey baby, you're cute," we go, "Hee," and then you around 30, you start going, "Who are you talking to?"
Right.
And so then they're
me.
like, "We're only going to talk to those under 30. We're not going to catcall." I don't know. It's just my observation.
Well, I get, sometimes I'll get the one where it's like, you're so beautiful. How is a woman like you single? To myself.
I think we've all gotten that one.
Yeah. And it's like, at 16, that may have been flattering, and I would have been, ha, 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 ha. That's so cute. But now it's like, you know what? I choose to be single,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I think it's very okay. Yeah.
People assume you're crazy if you're not in a relationship or something. It's
Cecilia, did Cecilia do the whole online dating?
I have done it in the past. I'm an OkCupid girl.
Okay. I never tried that one.
Remember that one?
OkCupid.
I've never heard of it.
How did that go?
It was interesting. It was definitely interesting. And I did get the whole, I had one that was the question was shaved ?
Oh.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Oh.
I'm not very witty, but I had a girlfriend say, she goes, "You should have answered half. That would have kept him thinking for a while." I'm like,
Yes.
That's awesome.
yeah, that was bad.
That's hilarious.
Wow. So presumptuous.
It's so presumptuous. Yeah.
I think if you sometimes put it in perspective that all of these men or women, whatever you choose, that are on the other end of that screen, those are your friends, bosses, brothers, the guy at the car wash, people that you might not even look at or you laugh at, and the persona they put on that screen is not the person that you meet. So you cannot swap out meeting somebody and talking to them to what is on that profile. I don't think that is ever going to be. Yeah.
It's impossible. Yeah.
And you'll always have somebody that says, well, my friend met her husband and they got married. And it's like, all right, I get it. Maybe that was a match made in heaven. I have no idea. Yeah. But for the most part, I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with one, being with yourself.
Yes.
And two, if you really want to meet somebody, then put yourself out in the real world. Talk to somebody at work. Yeah, talk to somebody at work. Go join that hiking group and maybe make a new girlfriend on top of, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Hey, that's it. I think becoming really comfortable with yourself and giving love, the measure of love that you're willing to give to yourself and just live your life.
It's more real. I think the energy you put out there,
to be. Yeah, your circle, and like, I'd like to do these things and learn these things and incorporate you into their world because of it. It's not based on the connection of the dating or the potential of dating. It's based on your interests, and at that point, I think it could possibly bloom from a mutual respect and no pressure. You literally are like kind of transparent with each other. I think that is the organic you know, I think that's a little jewel when it comes to dating. You know, at a certain point, you really don't want to look for just the surface stuff. You really are looking to just find good people who are like you.
Right, and have a genuine connection with someone. I think that, you know, for me, when I came out of my divorce and I started on the dating apps is how I started dating. And I mean, it fulfilled something for me in that at that time, you know, I think when you're coming off a 20, 30-year marriage, you know, there's a need to have your ego boosted up a little bit and, you know, feel attractive to other people because you're coming out of it feeling like the most unattractive person around, you know, and it feeds your ego to have people, you know, swipe your name or whatever, swipe your picture. And so that kind of fulfilled that for me. I'd have to say, though, that I did meet some really nice people through there that I still talk to today, you know, like friendships. I made good friendships through there. I don't use the dating apps at all anymore, but I don't have time for it. But for me, that's the experience. What about you, Cecilia?
As far as what, the dating apps go?
Yeah, do you still use them or have you stopped them?
I stopped them, and frankly, right now, I'm just focusing on me and self-care right now. I don't have the time or the energy to give to someone else. So I want to, but I know it's just not going to be good for me or the other person anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, yeah.
Do you guys find that, you know, because you guys are all successful, intelligent, beautiful women, do you guys find that hinders relationships to a certain extent? In that, do you find that, you know, people are attracted to you for a certain thing, but once you start getting more involved in the relationship, and because we are the age we are, and because, you know, we've developed our own lives and have our own things going on, that we're not able to pay the attention to someone like we were back when, you know, when we're in our 20s. Do you think that affects your relationships?
I actually think that the kinds of people that I'm interested in are like that as well. That, you know, they have their own lives, they have their own circle of friends, they have their own interests, they are strong people in and of themselves, and they are not needy. And if they're not a person that I find to be intellectually stimulating or have similar interests, I just kind of move on. I think that's that you kind of set that expectation. I don't settle for something less than what I'm looking for, at least initially.
Right. Makes sense. What about advice? So what advice would you give to someone who's just entering the dating game?
Oh, learn how to tell a scammer.
Right? That's a big thing right now.
Yep. Learn how to ask questions. How long have you been single? And if somebody can't come up with a decent answer, then that's a red flag. Ask people about their profile and whether, you know, and I'm sorry, I try and trick people with questions. Oh, you say you were in higher education. How interesting. What did you do? Oh, I was a dean of a school. Oh, at what level? At, you know, whatever it looks like, you know, ask a lot of questions. You're entitled. Right. Because this is your time in your life also.
Right.
I would say take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you kind of have to develop a thick skin.
Yeah. Use the tools that are available to you in terms of looking up someone's background, look at their social media, look at their social profiles, look at their
Connie,
LinkedIn. Learned all this from Jana. Look at their LinkedIn. Find out if they're really who they say they are.
Right. So I'm gonna deviate from, I want to get back to this main question, because I like to give people advice when we're talking about this, as as much as we can and through our experiences. But is that something you guys do? Do you guys look at people's social media profiles, see who they're following, see who's following them? I mean, is that something that you do when you're dating?
I don't do like Instagram, but I look them up on Facebook. I Google them. I look them up on LinkedIn. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You all do it?
Yeah.
And that's not like considered psycho to like troll like that?
No.
You take
That's
their
their
phone number,
social media.
look it up.
Their social persona.
Yeah.
Men do it too, though. Men do it too, because I've had people, you looked really great in this post, and it was like from 2010. So they media stock too. So okay, so Cecilia, what advice would you have for someone just entering the dating game?
Wow, that would be really hard for me right now, because I'm just like I was just telling you the other day that I'm like so out of the dating game right now, just because it's just not a space that I can enter right now.
Right.
I would just say, just stay true to yourself. That honesty and transparency, it goes a long way. And just be real with people, and it helps if you have that energy. It's easier, I think, to detect whether or not someone else is in that same space.
What about you, Jana?
Have fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be serious. It's not supposed to take you to your knees. It's not supposed to make you question your value. You're supposed to have fun.
Right.
And always go with your gut.
Good point. What about you, Michelle?
Well, I would say if you are being true to yourself and you are looking for a certain something, you put that out there and you treat people accordingly. But with our wisdom, you're able to adhere to anything that doesn't seem to be, just cohesive to what you believe in. It's okay to proceed with a little bit of caution. It's okay to do a little spirituality check, like what is someone really looking for? And I would like to have fun with somebody, but I also don't want them to come into my home if I'm cooking, a fabulous meal and they are joining me and they're great cooks, but they're really not looking for the same thing that I am in life. I just don't really care to spend my time with that kind of person that, maybe I'm a little bit jaded, but also I think I'm super aloof as a person. So, I get what I get,
I think for
but
me,
I think for dating, I would go ahead. Okay.
Oh no, you go
I'd
ahead.
like to find somebody who, through maybe other relationships, people, work life stuff, that I can be myself and be comfortable enough to work out the kinks to, get to know somebody on mutual terms that really might seem awkward at first, but that awkwardness is what really brings you together, to really kind of make it seem like a real natural connection.
I think for me, my biggest tip or advice would be, especially for someone who's maybe just coming out of a long-term marriage relationship, whatever the case may be, is just give yourself time. Really take time to find yourself again, because especially at this age, when you're coming off of a 20, 30, 40-year marriage, whatever the case may be, you need that time to to develop yourself and to really understand what your likes and dislikes are, because it really took me I'm still learning. It took me a long time to get to that point, and every day is a learning lesson for me. But I really think it's so important to give yourself time and do it solo. Do things by yourself. Be okay with being by yourself, because at the end of the day, no matter what happens with a relationship, if you're okay with being by yourself, that's when you can let someone else into your life, and
definitely
have it be a great thing, So any other words of wisdom from you guys in the dating the dating scene?
It's the old thing, you can't love someone else until you love yourself first.
Cheers.
Did I lose you guys? Oh.
Cheers.
No.
Cheers to that. It's true.
Here goes Celia.
Who's drinking what? I have tequila. What, you're drinking beer? Michelle?
White wine.
And bourbon.
Oh, bourbon. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. What are you drinking, Cecilia?
This is just a strawberryta.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
It's pretty.
It's great. Well, thank you guys for joining me tonight and being on Midlife Single. And we'll be doing more fun little girl chats in regards to dating and life and some of the things that we're dealing with at midlife. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Brenda, for
Brenda.
having us.
Thank you.